The world's richest people sounding off on COVID. Oprah Winfrey now complaining that the CDC lifted the airline mask mandate too early. Of course, she probably hasn't flown commercial since the Reagan administration. And Bill Gates, the Microsoft founder and Epstein Island VIP, told the Financial Times, quote, "I don't want to be the voice of doom and gloom, but it's way above a 5% risk that this pandemic, we haven't even seen the worst of it." That would work out well for Bill since he bought up a major COVID testing company last summer, in addition to having his sweaty nerd hands and all sorts of vaccine technology. So why does it seem like the rich and famous just can't get enough of the COVID? Party panel, they are back. Jessica Tolliver, Jason Meister, and Spike Cohen. So Spike, I will start with you. I am sick of rich hypochondriacs dictating my life. Your thoughts?
So I don't think they're hypochondriacs because we see them routinely flouting their own recommendations and orders whenever they see fit. They just want us to live that way. And I think you might have already closed out this panel, this segment of the panel, because you said why he is acting alarmist, because he has his hands in testing technology and vaccine technology. He has a vested interest in people being scared as possible of this virus. And as we've said many times, COVID is serious, it is real, it is something that we should take seriously. We cannot be scared of things in perpetuity. And the idea that there's as much as 5% risk that this could end up becoming more virulent and more deadly, when that's so far been the opposite of what's happening. COVID has become like other coronaviruses that exist and become more transmissible but less deadly over time, which is at this point the best we can hope for. There wouldn't be a tremendous reason to think it would change directions. And again, it's obvious why he's promoting this. A hypochondriac is someone who actually believes what they're saying, and I don't believe that most of these people actually believe it. I bet Gail and Oprah mask up on the G7. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, oh, no. But I do think that Bill Gates is auditioning to be the next Anthony Fauci, Jessica. Like, he has money. By the way, that was a spot-on Bill Gates impersonation you did earlier, by the way. I just want to say that. It was really my Kermit the Frog impression. So it's like John McCain and Clarice from Silence of the Lambs. It really is the same impression. Sorry, Jesse. I didn't mean to step on your greatness. Bill Gates wants to be powerful because Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos have totally eclipsed him as like the forward-leaning billionaires. And they're like, Bill who? No, and the youngs, they don't know from the Bill Gates.
I hadn't thought about this as a billionaire war and that he's sitting there thinking, like, I left Melinda for this. So I actually happen to think, looking at his past
Melinda for COVID? COVID doesn't even suck anymore. Sorry, Jessica.
I did. Actually, the worst part of his interview, though, was when he talked about how he was suffering just the same as Melinda, which was really just offensive to every woman who's had a man do that to them. But anywho, Bill Gates has been talking about pandemic readiness for decades now. And I actually didn't find this to be that out of line with what he's usually saying, which is that we need to bolster our savings to prepare for events like this. Because you remember back in the day when people had to, the Surgeon General, who now is one of the biggest advocates for masking, Jerome Adams, had to say, like, masks don't matter because we didn't have enough masks. We didn't have enough masks for people who were actually working in COVID wards. So I kind of read this as a preparedness issue, not that he was looking to boost his sales of the Cube or whatever testing feature he might be in.
Does. If you need tests and vaccines forever, at least once a year, maybe twice or thrice, then that certainly helps him as well. Last thoughts on this, Jason?
Yeah, I think Americans have had enough of this. We just lived through perhaps one of the most self-destructive human history, pandemics in human history. Bill Gates, Dr. Fauci, and other health officials somehow convinced us that a virus, for the most part, and for many of us, had a 99.8% survival rate, was responsible for the economic and societal devastation that policies that our government implemented on us. So I think that this maniacal mega billionaire needs to stop talking about COVID because his credibility on COVID is dead.
He is still very much alive. Jeffrey Epstein, not alive. Also didn't kill himself. All right, Netflix is trying.